of the night. It's going to be pitting the sides of Gold Gaming Los Angeles versus Cognitive Gaming. I had to take a second there to make sure that I wasn't muted because I'm basically always muted forever. My name is Malphus X, being joined here by my good friend Studio. Studio, talk us through the games we've seen thus far tonight.
Well, we have Team Coast looking dominant as ever. Team Curse, they're still new and really new, so still some time for them to adapt. Velocity haven't quite secured their win yet, as Curse Academy finally going even. Now we're going to have a match between Cognitive and ggLA. ggLA recently losing their top laner, Quas, to the new Curse. So it's going to be interesting to see how they mesh. Now they actually have a new top laner in Yazuki. Yazuki, formerly on Orbit/Cloud9, way back in January. He's been out of the scene for quite some time. It's good to see him, back up in the top lane for a team because he is really, really good. Like that's all there is to say about him. He is a powerful top laner.
Yeah, he's an extremely potent player, and it's been the scene has definitely missed him while he's been gone. So it's very very nice to see him back. That was a kind of an unfortunate situation the time that he made his exit from the competitive scene, but that team has done pretty well for themselves since then. Now we'll see if Yazuki can imitate that success as he hops in here with ggLA. So bans are already done. Lee Sin, Renekton, and Vi being banned out by the side of ggLA. Cognitive Gaming rather going to take away Nidalee, Zed, and Kassadin. So as far as I can tell, that's basically just 3 bans against Bishu.
Looks like it. Very solid bans overall. A lot of people think that Bishu is the guy you want to focus out in the bans and then just try to make him play something he's uncomfortable with. He is someone who plays, when he's on a comfortable champ, he plays significantly more efficiently. Now, Yazuki, I don't know what he's going to play. They do lock in that Elise first. That could be going to Cortez. I saw them playing with that earlier. But he's had a lot of champions that he's been effective with in the past that aren't really relevant nowadays. Like Katarina top isn't a thing you do anymore. So I do want to see what Yazuki ends up being locked into because I think he's got a lot of potential, but it's been so long since he's been in the scene. I don't know what he'll play.
I remember he was an extremely potent Riven top laner back in the day. He was one of the first guys in North America to play a lot of Darius in the top lane as well. Although I would be kind of surprised to see that making a comeback at this point. Darius has fallen pretty far out of the meta. But it looks like we're gonna be a little while before we can actually tell exactly what he's gonna be picking. As you mentioned, that Elise is kind of a variable pickup. Could be going into the mid lane, could be going into the jungle, could be going into the top lane. Pretty much the only thing that we can't expect from Elise at this point that we have seen in the past is probably not gonna be a support Elise, as they're still hovering over that Nami. Looking like that's going to get locked in here for Nidus Remain relatively quickly. Over on the side of Cognitive Gaming, they have locked in a Zyra and Corki for their bottom lane. And there we see the lock-in coming in. ggLA going to grab their lane opponents. It's going to be Caitlyn and Nami.
I do like the Zyra pickup from COG just because it shuts down Nidus Remain's pick. That's actually been one of his more common supports, always going for that Zyra when it's available, generally a first pick even. It's odd to see it not chosen first this game. At the same time, Jungle Elise is amazing, so it's a very solid pickup. Now, I would like to see COG hold their top lane just to be able to counter out Yazuki to see what he does bust out there. At the same time, they can either go for a counter mid lane or a counter top lane. Based off their bans, it looks like they're going more for the mid lane counter.
All right, so far we're being shown a Garen. Now we're going to have to give this a minute to see that actually gets locked in. That we haven't seen Garen in competitive play for quite some time now.
I would not hope, I would not dare dream. It could always be a placeholder, but the problem with Garen is that, frankly, he's a counter pick, and they don't know what he's going to be going up against yet. Orianna is locked in at the last second as Otter with the counter Garen, fighting Garen with Garen.
Oh, man. Zamfira going to go ahead and lock himself in that Orianna. It's going to be the jungle Aatrox coming out from Captain Ziploc. So the only thing that we have left is to see what that actual top lane pick is going to be for iDream. Very, very commonly we see this from the red side, that they just wait and they wait and they wait, and they either pick their top laner or their mid laner with their last pick, so they have the best opportunity to get a counter pick down if anyone does pick one of those lane matchups that can be very, very strong but is very, very bad in certain situations. So now they're going to wait. They're going to use that advantage. They're going to force ggLA to put all their cards on the table first before they decide what they're going to do.
There is a lot more potential for a mid laner to get out of control right now, especially with the more mid lane focused meta. With assassins like Ari, assassins like Fizz and Zed and Kassadin, and even Gragas actually. So trying to put someone in a uncomfortable position mid lane or even counter them and beat them is a much bigger deal than safer lanes like the jungle or even bot lane. Like it's hard to go for a hard counter jungler, but it's much easier to pick a strong mid counter. Gragas is locked in as well as Vladimir, so overall two relatively safe lanes. Vladimir actually does not bode well versus Teemo early on, though probably not going to be what we see locked in. So let's see what they do choose to counter the Vladimir. There were a lot of picks that used to work back in the day, like Rumble, for example, but overall, like, the anti-Vladimir character tends to be a lot more related to how the jungle interacts top lane.
Absolutely, yeah. So they do have the Gragas, they do have the Vladimir. They're showing us the double ability power composition. Now we just have to see what the top lane call is going to be. They're swapping it over, and they will lock in Jax. So it's going to be Jax for iDream in the top lane against that Vladimir. What do you think about that matchup, Studio?
Jax actually doesn't do well versus Vladimir early, but Jax doesn't do well versus a lot of people early. It's a matchup where eventually Jax can scale and very easily kill a Vlad. At the same time, if Jax does not do well enough early, if he does start going down quickly, he dies, and it's very easy for Vladimir to just control the lane, take control of that game even just by forcing people to come top to stop his pressure. So it's got a lot of potential, but can very easily flounder.
All right, so the sides are locked in here for Gold Gaming Los Angeles. We will see Yazuki playing Vladimir in the top lane. Cortez got the Elise in the jungle. Bishu playing the mid lane. Gragas, Otter, and Nidus are main going to be taking that Caitlyn and Nami down to the bottom lane. And on the side of Cognitive Gaming, it's going to be iDream playing the Jackson in the top lane. Captain Ziplock's got the jungle Aatrox. Zamfira playing the mid lane Oriana. And the bottom lane combination will be Nothing Here and Zane King playing Corki and Zyra. We're going to take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we'll be hopping into game number 3 of the night. It's going to be Gold Gaming Los Angeles taking on Cognitive Gaming. to be taking on the side of Cognitive Gaming. They're heading out. Sorry, my notes kind of ended up scattered all across my computer. I had to take a second to make sure that I was saying the right things here. I am Malphus, that is what I am sure of, and I am joined here by my good buddy Studio. And the Summoners have picked up their starting items. Everybody except for Yasuki, however, it looks like he wants to get a little bit of a scout before he picks up anything. As they have headed out there on the Rift, and just about everybody's ready to get this game started.
Now, you say he could be scouting. I say maybe he just forgot. Like, that's how rusty Yuzuki is. He forgets to buy items. It'd be actually funny if that was the case, but it's a smart idea if he sees they're going for a 2v1 that can change up his item build, or if he sees he can just play a 1v1 versus Jax and try and go for dominant performances. Cortez is spotted out. However, he was sitting in the right portion of the tri-bush and actually keeps his spiderling alive. That could have been a free spider, which would be, I believe, an extra 5 gold for the members of Cognitive, so denying that spider by transforming into the human Elise form. But the invade is spotted out, which means that the members of ggLA can now aggressively ward into their jungle. If you can actually see that Nidus Remain has already put down 3 wards, and actually one to spot the lane swap way at the top of the map. So overall, really good ward coverage. I like seeing this because there's no way for top lane to approach top lane without revealing what it is. They have to go through the mid lane river, which is not exactly the smartest, nor safest, nor most common idea.
Yeah, so at this point, they are going to spot that out. They are going to have the opportunity to try to make sure that they get the right lane matchup that they want. Now we see Jax is going to be revealed by that ward, so we'll see what the movement is coming out here. Yasuki was heading down towards the bottom lane. He's going to immediately turn back around. We'll see where they decide to end up sending him. Otter and Nidus are main. Walking through, they're going to step into the tri-brush here. Looks like they're maybe hoping to catch somebody in rotation as they're just kind of hanging out there waiting for the lane to come up. It looks like they're going to be content with the 2v1. They're going to send Yasuki down here. He's going to be heading into the 2v1. Sticks around to help Cortez make sure that he finishes up that red buff very, very nicely. Doesn't have to use his smite. He's going to be able to come back, pick up that blue buff, and then his options will be basically whatever he would like them to be.
Unfortunately, unlike a top laner like Jax, Vladimir can't take golems. He's just going to walk up to golems, transfuse, and die if he tries to do that. However, something neat up top side is that they did send Nidus Remain to try and stop the golems from being taken by Jax. He only got the small one, which is not worth a whole lot. And actually, Nidus Remain going for the counter juggling. Ziploc is taken pretty low.
Ziploc taken very low. The exhaust actually going to come out to try to keep him from getting the attack speed. The passive going to get burned by Nidus Remain as he just shuts down Captain Ziploc. Zamfir going to come over here, going to help Ziploc pick that up. The Dark Flight plus the Smite will be good to secure that one. And Nidus Remain's going to continue chasing him out. He knows that Captain Ziploc is extremely low. Zamfir going to step forward, gets popped up by the bubble. And just like that, Nidus Remain has already proven himself to be an extreme nuisance in this top lane.
That was such an unexpected thing to happen. However, she does get that 1.5 second CC early on. It does have decent range. Overall, very well played by Nidus Remain. And I like it because it denies just time. That was time where Ziploc could be in the jungle getting more CS, and actually his passive is also down as well. But now all of a sudden top lane is being pushed. This is 3v1. Jax can't do a thing, and they know Aatrox is A, way too low, and B, doesn't have that passive available to help defend that push.
Alright, so we see Yasuki stepping up here. Going to try to get as much CS as he can. The tower going to take a lot of damage here as they built up quite a creep wave. And we see up in the top lane, it's a similar situation, but because the jungler is there applying pressure, because Cortez is there with the top laners, they're going to be able to completely zone iDream away from this. He's yet to pick up a CS in this game, and the first tower is going to fall shy of the 4-minute mark up in the top lane.
I mean, that is all off the back of Nidus Remain's play. Fantastic, fantastic. Just counter juggling from the level 1 Nami. That was actually a very, very fast red buff by Ziploc, and unfortunately he didn't hit level 3, which I think actually could have made it safer, but that is just the new jungle route now. You don't hit level 3 until after taking the red buff. Something neat is that bot lane, Yuzuki's still picking up a little bit of CS. He's trying to keep the turret alive as long as possible, but he's in a position where he can't clear the wave quickly enough, and he also can't put the CS in a position where he can actually land it when it takes tower shots. So very, very good pressure coming up from Rethikir and Zane King, forcing a lot of missed CS on Yuzuki. But they're still in a position where they're playing from behind in the tower push war, as they still have 3 members top lane trying to pressure that tier 2.
iDream just hit level 2 about 10 seconds ago. He's going to step on the trap, going to get popped up by the bubble. Otter going to get some auto attack. Nidus Remain takes a couple tower shots for that, and Yasuki is doing everything he can to try to keep this tower as healthy as possible for as long as possible, while the rest of his team, they continue to group up and push. The smite goes down the cannon. iDream going to get cocooned up, going to use the counter strike to keep himself from going down to Otter. Flash goes forward for both the AD carry and the top laner. Nidus Remain going to be the first blood as he goes down. Captain Ziploc gets a little revenge.
Main actually had the flash available too, so he had a chance of at least surviving or forcing Ziploc to follow up with a flash himself and die in response to the chase. But, you know, just the unexpected initiation that went too far forward, went too far aggressively. Had Otto actually landed the auto attack, he would have been the guy to die to the turret as a result. But, you know, sometimes you get a little bit over your head. Still, though, they're equal in gold, despite the fact that they gave up first blood. They're equal in turrets, which is not the best situation to be in, but Vladimir has a whole lot more experience than iDream does. And lanes are not in a great position, but they're a lot better than if it just been an even game. They're behind in gold by a tiny bit, but that is not an insurmountable lead. And Vladimir can actually go top now and very easily duel iDream up at the top lane, especially iDream, who does not have flash available.
Bishu waiting to hit 6. Just needs a couple more creeps to go down near him. Zamfira does just ding level 6 as well, but Zamfira is just about out of mana. The barrel going to come over. Bishu will pop that. He does now hit level 6. Zamfira has to be cognizant of this. The flash is up. Bishu going to come forward, flashes into the creep, going to get the explosive barrel back. There's the flash forward from Cortez. Cortez going to try to close it up. The barrel will be able to pick up that kill. Cortez with a beautiful follow-up, and Bishu showing the maximum initiation range of Gragas.
Beautiful, beautiful initiation. That is not something you see every day. Just the long-range initiation from Elise is actually Yuzuki being pressured up at the top lane. iDream gets some pressure down at the same time. Yuzuki's going to have a lot of healing because, well, he's Vladimir. He gets that. So not going to be the worst situation for him overall. But the fact that, you know, he did the body slam flash into the ultimate and the very unexpected initiation from Cortez, that was such a long-range Elise initiation. She had a flash to get there. And that's what I think makes that so impressive. How do you predict that? How do you expect such a random occurrence of flashes? That's not common, and that really, really took Zamfira out of his comfort zone. I love that. I love that, just that long-range, unexpected initiation. Very risky if it didn't work out, because a lot would have been blown in terms of flashes, but they still got that kill.
And they made it work, and they took the Orion off the map. We talked about how Gragas is going to have an advantage matchup in that situation, and that's exactly why. There's just so much kill potential coming out from the big guy. So just like that, they're able to take him off the map. Otter and Nidus remain. They're going to try to replicate their tower killing success down here in the bottom lane, but it turns out it's a little bit more difficult when it's Zyra Corki instead of just Jax.
Just Jax, and of course, no Elise, and nearly did Aatrox to also join the fray. What makes Gragas so good at killing Orianna too is the fact that once Orianna's out of position, just so much damage comes down. Yuzuki, he's been up against such a big creep wave, and iDream has gotten so much more experience pushing back towards that top turret that iDream's actually been able to harass on Yuzuki quite a bit, and he can't really fight him because of the size of the creep wave and also the position he's been in. He'd have to run back very far to get to a safe spot. So it's been pretty rough for him up top lane. Now behind him, CS. Actually, iDream could be going for this kill.
Yeah, iDream is going to take so much damage from the tower. One more tower shot would clean him up, but he's not going to take it down. Pops the Grandmaster's Might, going to get that bonus armor from his AD. Will be able to just barely keep himself alive on that one, but now here comes the dive. iDream going to pop the ultimate down. There's the explosive cast, and Yasuki picks up the kill. Bishu coming in at just the right time to help him out.
Oh, man. You can safely say that iDream just got dunked by a drunk there, as Gragas just gives him that last little bit of shot to take him down. Oh, good roaming from Bishu. It was very, very safe roaming, and that he would probably get a kill because they knew that iDream would either be going for the escape, in which case he could cut him off, or be going back for the turret dive. And that was just very neatly played. It's actually mid lane now. Zamfira in a lot of danger.
Oh, Zamfira going to get the command shockwave down this time. Just had the mana pool for it, but he's just going to end up giving that blue buff back over to Bishu as it just gets cleaned up. Not enough ward coverage down there right now. In fact, no ward coverage on that side of the map at all, except for in the brush at the river all the way up at the top lane. So just like that, Cortez is able to walk all the way around behind Orianna and pick up yet another kill for Bishu.
Yuzuki hasn't bought yet in the top lane. I do want to see what he picks up as a pause does come out. So the question now is, if you're a member of Cognitive, what do you do? The ggLA house is having some issues apparently. Lag coming out from Nidus. So Zamfira is not having too hot of a time mid, and it's going to be hard for them to pick up a kill on Gragas just because of his mobility and the fact that Orianna can't really poke him down at this point. Bishu is in such an easy position to secure kills. He's actually going for not the normal Athene's Holy Grail build we see, but we're actually seeing what looks like a DFG or Rabadon's Death Cap, or actually he's got a lot of potential with this early large rod, but he's going for the raw AP item instead of Athene's. So they can't really kill him, and they can't really 2v2 him well because of that early damage. So the question is, where do they focus their lane?
Bishu going to step in under the tower. Going to start taking the Absolutely, and the amount of like wave push that he has once he picks that item up is just so colossal because there's nothing to stop him from just spamming Tides of Blood, pretty much on cooldown. Especially if the opposing laner is within that area of effect.
If Jax is ever non-threatening, that's just free harass for Yuzuki, and of course Vladimir's harass is actually amazing. Every 5 or so seconds, 230 damage builds up quite quickly.
So in the mid lane, Corkez and Bishu trying to just clear wave after wave. Bishu at this point with that needlessly large rod and hitting level 9 is able to just drop the barrel down onto the backline and it just instantly dies. Corkez stepping forward there using his ranged auto attacks to try to pick up that tower. The barrel comes down behind the tower, just going to zone him away, and just like that, we see ggLA grab their second tower of the game.
Pretty easy pickup dragon now being looked at. Easy 1,000 gold for them if they do secure it. They do have Zemfira, Nothing Cure, and Ziploc trying to counter this, but it's a 4v or 5v3 at best, and it's such a hard initiation that they would most likely just lose somebody unless they got the steal. That would be their only way to trade positively.
So that is their main. He throws down the bubble. They also have the trap there to keep people from just running down the ramp, doing everything they can to just zone the side of Cognitive out, not allow them even a look at the dragon as they take it down. Around about the 10.5-minute mark, it falls, and that's going to be yet another big advantage going over to the side of ggLA.
Jax is going to have another attempt at Yuzuki up in the top lane. Don't think he'll go for the same kind of dive, though, just because at this point Yuzuki is going to have his ultimate available. But that big old chance to get more experience from the pushed waves is really benefiting iDream this game. He's staying ahead in CS, but it's kind of back and forth, because now that Yuzuki's top lane, expect a lot more CS to come towards Yuzuki, now that he can actually pick it up since it's reached his turret.
Alright, so we see down in the bottom lane, Nidus remain and Otter just going to get as much damage down as they can. They throw down the Tidecaller's Blessing. Otter, however, going to get blown up by Zane King Zyra. We see the bubble come back out, but it's not quite going to land. Nothing here, and Zane King stepping forward there. A lot of magic damage coming out of those two, and ooh, Yasuki is in a difficult position up here in the top lane. See Captain Ziploc hiding out in the brush. He's up there with iDream. They're going to hop out of the brush. Now they're going to go ahead. They're going to go for the gank. They come back out. Yasuki pops the ghost immediately. He still has the flash available to him. Will he use the flash? The Ignite goes down. He's going to pop the ultimate. Going to use the Sanguine Pool to get out from under the Dark Flight. iDream going to try to chase this back down, but there's the flash. Yasuki with both of those escape summoners getting burned, able to get away from a 2v1 situation like no one else could have.
That is why you pick up a Ghost on Vladimir. That's also why you pick up Flash on Vladimir. He survives iDream actually going very low versus the top turret, but they know no one's in the area to threaten him. They gotta push this down because bot turret just went down. They wasted a lot of time. Oh, iDream. They're not gonna get that turret now. Ziploc's not gonna go for the push. He actually should try and do some damage, but he wouldn't get the turret in time, and that is, oh my god, iDream. That is just embarrassing, man. That sucks. And the worst part is, because they lost that bottom turret, they got nothing in exchange for that. They really had no benefit from that top lane gank, what could have been a destroyed turret.
Oh man, that turret has been an absolute all-star thus far for Yuzuki. It was a big part in helping him pick up 1 kill early on, and now it was a huge part in well, in at least giving his team some map advantages. The jungler and the top laner were occupied and got basically nothing for it, apart from Vladimir's 2 summoners. That was the extent of what they got out of that one. So that's a pretty disheartening loss of time there, coming out for the side of Cognitive Gaming, and this is certainly not going to help if Bishu is able to successfully steal away this blue buff.
At the same time, that is one of those mistakes that is, let's be honest, that is a dumb mistake. That is not something you should ever do, especially at this level of play. But it happened, and I think you just gotta clap your hands a bit, enjoy it, because that was just silly.
All right,
oh,
so
for iDream, I'm still laughing. It's just so funny.
Corkez come back out with the oracles. He's gonna get the flash for it. There's the cocoon. Zamfir gonna try to flash to the other side of the explosive cast. The command shockwave comes down. Yasuki gets there just in time. We'll be able to put the last hit on him with the transfuse. Ultimate coming out now from Zane King. Is he gonna try to get away from this one? Gonna get locked up by the bubble. Double kill goes down now for Yasuki as he picks that one up. We're gonna see Captain Ziploc gets put into the passive. Yasuki wants to be there for that one, but a dark flight gonna be able to get Captain Ziploc away. And just like that, 2 quick kills coming off for ggLA. They're grouped up. They're ready to take down this middle inner tower. Nothing here coming from the side, getting a lot of good poke down. Corkez is going to fall to the phosphorus bomb. Otter now coming back into this one, going to try to help out. Going to get a couple of auto attacks down. Dark Flight comes out. Captain Ziploc has no passive, has to flash away. Yasuki very, very low right now. Corky has the potential to clean a lot of this up. iDream coming back forward. Otter trying to chase it back down. The Tidecaller's Blessing. The slow is huge. The bonus damage is huge, but it's not going to be enough to allow Otter to pick up that kill with the ace in the hole. And just like that, they do drop Cortez. They do take that Oracle off the map for a little while, and that's you know, cognitive gaming showing some signs of life.
I mean, Cortez was just so low underneath the turret. It was an aggressive position to be in, and he paid for it with his life. Still, though, 2 kills for 1. I gotta say, I love the aggressiveness coming out from Bishu. He's looking for any opportunity to go for Zamfira. There's Zamfira used the command Dissonance onto a Captain Ziploc to try and secure his escape. But by going forward and also importantly using the Dissonance, which is Orianna's escape spell, along with her shield, that meant that Zamfira suddenly had to either blow Flash to escape or he would outright die. And in that case, it was actually both. He blew the Flash, could not escape the explosive cask, and still went down. So overall, very, very effective counter pressure, and I love that they're looking for any opportunity over on the side of ggLA.
So Cortez is going to grab himself up a blue buff. Bishu trying to get some poke down on this one. Doesn't want to get caught out. Understandable. Jax Zyra still kind of terrifying, even if the Jax hasn't necessarily had the greatest game. 0-2-0 right now on iDream rather. So he's picked up the Phage and a couple of Doran's Blades. We'll see if he goes for a similar build from what we saw out of Rux in the last game, where he just built a Phage and then went with the completed Blade of the Ruin King. That felt like kind of just a build of opportunity, though. He's like, oh, I have enough gold to finish this. I guess I'll buy this instead. I'm still expecting to see the Trinity Force first, as that's generally a more common build onto the Jax. Corki going to finish up his Trinity Force. Captain Ziploc going to have his Dark Fly canceled by the explosive cask. The barrel roll going to come out to clean up that kill, and Bishu, he's just got Captain Ziploc's number.
That was actually an amazing combination of spells right there. The explosive cask landed, then the bubble from Nami landed. And what's important about that is that bubble will actually interrupt movement. So Corki's Valkyrie, the movement from explosive cask got stopped, which meant that immediately after, Bishu could still secure a barrel very easily. So very cool combination of spells. It was nice to see the Dark Flight get canceled, then the explosive cask movement immediately get canceled, and just set up an easy kill.
Nidus Remain taking a little bit of poke. Cortez stepping forward. They're going to pop the smite, going to throw out the cocoon, making sure that Nidus Remain doesn't get initiated on us. He's trying to clear out that plant. There's a pink ward there. He wants to be the one doing the poking. Will land the bubble over the wall onto Zane King, but there's not going to be any follow-up here. Bishu doesn't quite have the ultimate back up yet, but one of the biggest strengths of Gragas is that explosive cast comes up so very, very quickly. He's only about another 10 seconds out from having it. Cocoon gonna land onto iDream. He takes a massive amount of poke. He's gonna leap strike onto a creep next to a barrel and lose most of what was left of his hit points, as Bishu's Gragas, you know, with the Rabadon's Death Cap and the Sorcerer's Shoes already done, is just absolutely terrifying at this point.
I mean, he was probably going to go back to base anyways. Why not go back to base drunk? I can understand his reasoning. Makes a little bit of sense. Unfortunately, though, iDream only level 9. Izuki is actually farmed his way up to level 11. The initiation comes out, though.
Oh, sorry. So we see the actual initiation coming down here. The Zyra ultimate going to go down. Nothing here. Going to use the Valkyrie to try to get back out. Zane King going to block it out as Zamfira throws on the shield. And just like that, we see once again ggLA, they're able to pick up a kill. Captain Ziploc falls down, and they push them back off the tower. They grab that up, and they move down to claim the dragon objective.
And that was an initiation based off need. They need to do something, because once again, Zamfira is falling very far behind. You know, the Gragas versus Orianna matchup has just completely benefited Gragas, and they needed to start doing stuff before the very heavy AoE comp in terms of Vibrant Gragas spiraled out of control. Unfortunately, with that 8,000 gold advantage now, that comp probably has spiraled out of control. And the question is going to be, how do they start picking up kills? How does Jax become relevant? Jax has almost a completed item. He almost has Mercury Treads. I guess the Phage is also completed as well, but he needs more than just, you know, 2 relatively low-cost items. He needs that Blade of the Ruin King. He needs that Triforce, or at least one of them. So Jax isn't too effective right now. Aatrox has not had a very strong game. He is a little bit tanky, but nowhere near Elise's level right now. And frankly, Orianna has Athenes, and Athenes is important on her. It's a core item on her. You need it almost every game, barring very specific circumstances if they have no magic damage whatsoever. But it's not a lot of damage. And Orianna is more about the AP scaling rather than the actual base value when it comes to her output. So she has a CDR, which is huge, but now she needs AP. He needs actual AP to do damage, because without it, he's tickling them. He's tickling Gragas' belly, and frankly, I think he likes it.
Yeah, Gragas has got a lot of belly to tickle as well. 3-0-4 right now on Bishu, as he is just about as fed as any mid laner could ask to be at the 19-minute mark. Zamfira just trying to get as much farm as he can, trying to keep himself out ahead of this Gragas right now, but nothing here. Here saying, okay, I've got my Trinity Force, but I'm not done yet either. iDream trying to jump in onto Yasuki. Yasuki immediately going to use the zip blocks over on the other side. Doesn't get the pop-up, will get the slow. Yasuki trying to get away from this one. Nothing here. Going to chase it now with the Valkyrie. That missile isn't going to land. That missile will, and that's a shutdown going over to nothing here. Mid lane. Nope. Corkaz not going to follow that one through. Zamfira is able to get over to the other side of the wall with the flash. But, you know, again, Cognitive, every time they do get something going for them, they lose something else. They pick up the kill in the top lane, but they had to commit so many forces to it that they lose a tower in bottom.
They might lose more though as the initiation comes down. As their main trying to get out of the Zyra plants, unfortunately still get knocked up. It doesn't really matter though, as they just kind of walk on out of that one. Completely defensive Zyra ultimate there. Zamfira does have his shockwave up, but they're just going to back off over on the side of ggLA. So a turret for Yuzuki, a trade they'll gladly take. Yuzuki, rest in peace, he finally went down after many close calls. But now he has Zonias, now he has CDR boots, so you can just stay up in lane and bully Jax non-stop. That's the whole plan. We've seen this before, where if a team gets ahead, they can lose a split pusher, they can lose someone off in the side lane, but they'll take more in response because of how many people are required to actually take down a Vladimir. He probably could have survived 2 people. 3 people is what it took to barely get him down.
Alright, so we see in the mid lane, it's just Otter. He's continuing to farm up. He's already got the Bloodthirster done. He's working towards that static shiv as well. So much push power coming out from that, and just so much damage as well from Caitlyn as he just hides on the back line. iDream once again trying to dive in onto Yasuki. Yasuki goes into the single pool. iDream at this point looks like he has outscaled the Vladimir. There is a Zhonya's Hourglass done, but there's so much magic damage that he doesn't have an answer for right now, and he has no way to really keep iDream from just consistently auto-attacking him again and again and again.
I mean, even if iDream does get those auto attacks off, the unfortunate thing is if you're a Jax and Vladimir matchup, Vladimir has all that sustain. Well, Jax right now, he doesn't have a Vamp Scepter, he doesn't have a Revolver, he's got nothing to match that. So he can beat up Yuzuki for a bit, but Yuzuki's going to hang around, get some more transfusions off, get that blood back into him, and he'll be A-okay.
Ward coming over the wall here from Nidus Remain. Zane King does also have an Oracle's Elixir himself, so he's going to make sure that he clears that away for his team. As once again, they find themselves in a situation where there's a mid laner on the other side of the wall who can just blow them up and initiate the fight. We see Captain Ziplock going to be the one to get the initiation down. He knows he still has his passive, can actually back away from this one. The ace in the hole will get through. The command Protect going to soak up most of that. We'll be able to get him out of that alive. But they didn't really take all that much damage off of Otter. They just were able to get the flash down. So Otter is going to be just fine about regrouping, trying to put as much damage down on this tower as he can, and wants to make sure that he has his team standing in front of him before he does so. Nothing here, stepping forward. Bishu going to go forward. He gets the body slam, gets the flash. Zamfira locked up by the cocoon. There's the Nami ultimate as well. Bishu going to be able to get that down with that barrel roll. Nidus Remain falling down incredibly low. That rocket not going to land, just barely inches away. Bishu going to reposition himself with the rest of the side. They don't want to give anything over to nothing here at this point. Yasuki looks like he has come down. He's grouped up with the rest of the side as they continue to push into the mid lane. He's going to tank out the tower for a little bit because he knows he's got the Zhonya's Hourglass available, plus all the sustain. As soon as he just finds any creeps whatsoever, he's going to be basically back up to full health. And it's all about buying Otter time to continue right-clicking the tower. They're taking it down to about half health. Flash forward comes out from Zane King. Doesn't get any roots down. The Dark Slide comes out from Captain Ziplock. Not going to find anything either. Cognitive can't get the initiation they want, but they will be able to push ggLA back out of their base.
The aggressiveness from Bishu, I love it. I love that initiation right there. That was manly, that was risky, but the follow-up CC was perfect. Corkez landed his stun. Nidus Remain landed the ultimate. Nothing here just got landed by a Vladimir. Actually, that might go down.
Ooh! Beautiful flash cocoon coming out from Corkez. No, the Venomous Bite's going to get canceled by the flash over the wall. iDream now on the run. We see Corkez goes up into the air. There's the command shockwave trying to pull Bishu back away from Zamfira. Bishu will finally get shut down. Zane King's going to pick that kill up with the plants. Captain Ziplock trying to chase down, throws down the daggers, cannot close the gap in onto Vladimir there. As a very, very nice play there from, you know, Cognitive. ggLA, they think they have something. They think that they finally got somebody caught. You know, Yasuki comes in there, gets a nice ultimate down, gets a lot of damage, and then Corkez overcommits, people following him up a little bit too far, and Bishu is the one who thinks he can make a kill happen out of nothing.
Bishu, he really could have killed Zamfira if his ultimate was up. It was just coming up, and frankly, it was a brave play. You got to give him the man mode points, especially after that last initiation. But unfortunately, it was a bit too brave because, well, they were ready for him. And that can't be the game they play. They are a very team-based composition, unlike what we've seen before. They have to initiate as a group. They have to have follow-up for that Gragas right now. And of course, Kazuki is getting an ult on multiple people, especially with a Gragas spell to follow that up. That's huge right there.
I love the build coming out here from Bishu as well. He went first item Death Cap, then he grabbed up a Haunting Guys because he figured, you know what? I've got a lot of kills. I'm a little bit ahead. I just want to buy a little bit of extra magic penetration to make sure that if I find a squishy target like a Corki, like a Zyra, I can just blow them up immediately, and also just kind of offset some of the bonus magic resist from the ball. Whenever Zamfira uses Command Protect, the ball will give persistent bonus armor and magic resist to the target that's just walking around with it. And then now he's going in for that Athene's Unholy Grail, which, you know, as you mentioned before, is definitely core build on Orianna. It's also basically core build on Gragas as well, because cooldown reduction is just so fantastic for him.
CDR is huge, and also the mana regeneration. He is a pretty mana-intensive champion. Even with a Drunken Rage, you still go through mana very quickly. So it's not surprising to see it being built like that. Though I don't know if I wouldn't mind seeing a DFG build out of that, just for fun. But really, they need to make sure they're grouped up. The Nihilist Remains going to go down here. It's actually a pretty big pick-off, because that's the tidal wave down. That's a lot of their initiation, a lot of their defensive initiation. Yuzuki going to have to actually split push top lane, force iDream to return, and if that pressure might actually stop any sort of advantage coming from COG, they're not going to be able to do anything because Yuzuki's already at that top inhibitor turret.
And I'm a little bit even more confused is the fact that he used the flash and the ultimate to try to get away from that one in a situation where he was pretty clearly done for. But in any case, Yasuki is, you know, he's just a constant threat up in the top lane, split pushing again and again and again. Whenever iDream comes out to trade with him, if he doesn't go for full-on all-in and that actually kills Yasuki, he's just going to find his way to a jungle camp, get a couple transfusions off, clear out the camp, and then just show back up, you know, ready to go again.
And which is what he's doing right now. And of course, iDream, he can try and go for that all-in, but he's 3 levels behind Yuzuki. And all right, Vladimir is not as strong at a 1v1 versus the Jax, but Jax is just so far behind that it's not going to be a close matchup. So Yuzuki, he just needs to keep applying pressure when he sees that it's relatively safe for him to do so. Right now, for example, he probably shouldn't go near that Vladimir because the entire enemy team is nearby. Oh, actually, Bishu
gonna get the explosive cast down. There's the barrel rolls. They pick that up. Otter comes in over the wall with a 90 caliber net to make sure. And if you are anywhere near Bishu right now as a support, your life is forfeit.
Your life is forfeit. You got to make sure that you're getting hit by a cast or being knocked away from him, because if he lands a cast into the wall, but I guess almost anybody, that's close to a guaranteed kill if there's any sort of follow-up CC.
We see just like that, ggLA trying to capitalize this. They're going to try to take down the Baron. Members of Cognitive have stepped forward. They are offering enough of a threat to try to keep them down. Baron has not dropped aggro, therefore has not started regening yet, continuing to deal damage to the entire side over here of ggLA. They're just getting poked down. They've done a really, really nice job, have Cognitive, of keeping them off of that Baron, keeping them from actually taking that objective down. They know that they have the 4v5 fight potential, but they can't actually make it happen just yet.
Nami has shown up, trying to land those bubbles over the wall. Zane King not being at the fight is huge, because that Oracle's actually, as the tidal wave comes out, we can see the fish in the air, but nothing quite to bait in the members of COG. But still, like, they didn't have an Oracle to put out the ward that they were all standing on, so their attempted counter Baron was just going to be spotted out the entire time.
We see Captain Ziplock's going to be the one to force the initiation onto Otter. Otter has flash, explosive cast, not going to push any of the right people back out. Captain Ziplock picks up the kill onto Otter, and just like that, Cognitive find themselves a pick.
Okay, I have to say Bishu's ultimate there was actually going to knock Jax into range of Otter anyways, but very, very good Dark Flight from Captain Ziplock. It was predicted. He caught Otter going backwards with a 90 caliber net, and he actually interrupted it mid-flight, so very, very good counter gap closing. Escape? Counter escape. We'll go with counter escape from Captain Ziplock, making sure that the 90 caliber net, which is interruptible, got interrupted. So they catch out Otter, but once again, the members of COG are just a bit too scared to actually do something. It makes sense, because if they go for a team fight, they still have to deal with Bishu, even if he doesn't have the ultimate up. And they're very worried about Yuzuki. I think Yuzuki is actually the big threat now, because he's tanky enough to survive for a while with that Zhonya's, and he also has so much damage coming out just because of Vladimir's high sustained damage.
Right, so we see, and I mean, it's worth pointing out, they are 10,000 gold behind right now. That pick was huge for kind of stalling out the game and kind of offer them a little bit of an opportunity where no one can really be pushing forward on them. But, I mean, they're a long way from being able to actually stand and go into a full team fight against ggLA right now. They're going to try to start bringing that gap back right now by grabbing themselves up a tower. They are down 5 towers, so this would be a pretty big win for them if they can make this happen. But Bishu rolls up just in time, and, I mean, he is king wave clear right now.
That was what that kill got them, that brief moment where they could push in that mid turret, and now the moment where top lane, iDream's going to be able to pressure that top turret. He actually might be able to kill it. Should be relatively low, at about half HP. He's going to get that kill, but Yuzuki will be there to meet him soon.
Yeah, and you see, we do finally have the Trinity Force done onto iDream. They will be able to grab their second tower of the game as he takes him back up to 600 gold. We'll see what the secondary item is for him. Do you think it's too late for him to go Blade of the Ruin King at this point? Does he need defensive stats?
It wouldn't be a bad pickup, but I would love to see a Spirit Visage with the heavy AP. Zinky going down solo. The cast isn't enough. The tidal wave will it be?
Nothing here, gonna try to flash over the wall with the cocoon. Flash comes out from Yazuki, he picks up that kill on the other side. Now he's going back in, picks up the double kills, he takes down the Zyra. Gonna immediately use the Zanya's Hourglass. We see Captain Ziploc diving in on him as he comes back up. Zamfira using the ultimate as well. Captain Ziploc gonna be the one to pick up that kill. Zamfira just barely getting away from it, but the rest of ggLA, they're gonna be content to take down the tower. They're gonna take a quick break over there to have a snack on the Aatrox. He goes down. Nidus remain with yet another crucial bubble, and just like that, ggLA claimed themselves an inhibitor.
Alright, you gotta give credit to Yuzuki. He didn't quite get the triple kill, but it was close, and that is just beautiful play right there. He sacrifices himself, but he trades in such a positive way. Not only getting 2 kills, but also bringing down one of the enemies so low that they had to retreat, and actually setting up the kill onto a Captain Ziploc as well. So very effective use of his life right there. I love to see that aggressive play that is just so sacrificial. He got more kills, he died in response, A-okay, because guess what? Now his team took an inhibitor. I just remain in a bit of a dangerous spot, but when I say a bit, I really only mean a bit, because you can walk on out of that. He saw the movement speed buff, and he couldn't keep sweeping forwards. Still though, that inhibitor is going down.
Yeah. And that's it, and that's going to open up the map so much more. I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to defend Barons. They have timing windows where they're able to actually do that, because if the super creeps are pushed over all the way into the base, it takes quite a while to push them back out, and you can't just leave them sitting there. Bishu, once again, using the barrels just to clear out the creeps in the mid lane, but they've got the tower low enough that they throw the command protect on a Ziploc, and they do take it down. They bring their tower count up to 3. They're still 7. It's still 7-3 is the tower count right now, so they're still 4 towers behind. It's going to be a tall ask for them to get themselves back into this game, as they still lag by more than 10,000 gold.
And you mentioned this before, but for defensive items, there needs to be a lot more magic resist over on the side of COG. They're far behind, but the problem they're having right now is that they can't deal with any of the damage. If they can start getting Spirit Visages, maybe they have a chance. There's only one real source of physical damage from ggLA, and that's Otter. And if they can burst on Otter, as we've seen in the past with Dark Flight combined with a Shockwave, that could be their ticket to actually win a fight, burst him down. But so far, no one's really tanky. No one's bought a lot of magic resistance. Nidus Remain might be caught out.
He's going to flash away from this one. This time the flash will be enough to get him out of the red side jungle. Captain Ziploc couldn't get the pop up there. Bishu now wants to try to answer back with something. He's got the barrel roll down, thinking about going with the body slam over the wall. Going to just throw down the explosive cask. Chunk Zane King down to almost nothing. Loses about half his health on that one. Captain Ziploc getting taken down very, very low as well. Otter going to go ahead and start up on the Baron, and it looks like the side of ggLA wants to initiate this one over the wall. Korked's going to get himself into it. He's going to be the tank. Yazuki dealing persistent damage output. Bishu is doing a lot of damage, and Otter's just standing there DPSing over the wall while Nidus Remain is the bouncer. He's going to be the one trying to keep Captain Ziploc away from this one. Ziploc fails the Dark Flight over the wall. Otter has the red buff. Will be able to pick that up, but he sacrifices himself almost assuredly. The command Shockwave pulls him in. Zamfira picks that kill up. Exhaust goes down onto iDream, but iDream's just looking for another victim. Going to leap straight back out onto nothing here. So they drop Otter, but they pick up the Baron buff, and they take down Captain Ziploc.
I mean, the bravery of Otter is commendable, and actually, that's actually a really good trade for ggLA, because that's their initiation. That's Captain Ziploc, the guy they want diving in first. So now it's going to be hard for them to start something. Zamfira doesn't have the ultimate. Also gets hit by a bubble, but there is no follow-up. So, I mean, over the top play from Otter. A-okay, though, because they're actually shutting down the initiation. And frankly, the initiation matters a lot more for Cognitive right now, rather than the damage from Captain Ziploc. Like, Otter being dead is okay, because they have enough coming out from Bishu that they'll kill anybody anyways.
You see the bubble does land on his Zamfira. That C is actually going to get popped. iDream trying to step forward here, going to get cocooned. Cannot get the stuns down. A beautiful explosive cast, just going to disengage that fight so quickly there. Scatters the entirety of the team to the 4 corners of the world. Yazuki going to go ahead and throw down the Hemoplague as well. They're just trying to get enough AoE damage down that people will back away and allow them an opportunity to try to get some damage down to this tower. But thus far, it hasn't happened yet. Otter has respawned. He's running down the mid lane. He's trying to group up with the rest of the team. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, creeps are pushing up. They are getting a little bit of damage down onto that tower. And at this point, Cognitive, they need to start something up. There's the jump in. There's the command Shockwave. Bishu taken out extremely low. Doesn't have the ultimate back up just yet. The Zanya's Hourglass is going to get popped here by Yazuki. That barrel is there. It will not hit anybody. Captain Ziploc, poised to lose his passive, will do so to the volatile Spiderling. Zane King flashes forward there. Zane King, will he fall down? The ace in the hole gets blocked out by nothing here. He does fall down. Nidus Remain steps over to the side, gets the Nami W down, able to pick that one up. Now iDream trying to chase down Nidus Remain. Otter flashing forward there. Will pick up another kill. Now turning it onto iDream. iDream will not be able to get the counter-strike down, and it's going to be Bishu cleaning that kill up. At the end of the fight, it goes 3 for 3. Nothing here, and Zamfira return to the platform. They're going to grab the home guard. They're going to try to get back out in time to defend this. They will be able to do so as Otter and Bishu have to turn away.
The stall tactics coming out from ggLA are amazing. Yuzuki, the one in danger, the guy that they saw and we're just going to burst out immediately, survived for about 5 seconds because of his pull and because of his Zonias. Just wasting time. That gave enough time for Bishu to get in his damage, gave enough time for Otter to show up for the fight. Cortez doing the same thing when it came to stall tactics. Just getting that perfect repel at the last second and actually getting damage onto Zane King to allow NACLS Remain to pick him off. So just very, very good waiting and stalling, despite the fact that the initiation was that was perfect initiation from the members of Cognitive. They got the Dark Flight into a shockwave on important members of the enemy team, and still that just wasn't quite enough in a 4v5. They had the numbers advantage, they had the perfect initiation, still just not quite enough. And a lot of that came down to the fact that Yuzuki refused to die for long enough, Cortez refused to die for long enough, and of course a good snipe from NACLS Remain meant that they waited, they stalled, and they got enough DPS for the Bishu Otter tag team cleanup crew. All them janitors now, because they just swept up that fight.
So we see Yasuki just stepping around here, trying to clean up the jungle a little bit as well. Moving in towards a Rylai's now that he's finished up the Zanya's Hourglass and the Rabadon's Death Cap. That Spirit of the Spectral Wraith was his early sustain item, helped him out in the split pushing quite a bit. Also, whenever he moved into the jungle, gave him a little bit of extra potency, clearing out those golems every time. Now we see the members of ggLA looking like they want to group up and move in towards the mid lane here. Cognitive, I mean, this is going to be a very, very difficult near Herculean feat actually to keep them out of the bases. They're down 13,000 gold. Just a tad over that one. NACLS Remain once again with the Oracle has actually picked up a Mikhail's Crucible. I'm trying to think. This is just for Zyra roots and Jack stuns. I suppose that they could also, if there's a slow from Command Dissonance, and then there is the little bit of a heal that goes along with it. But NACLS Remain is just going to do everything he can to keep Otter as alive and is able to get a pretty decent amount of CS most of the time. We see everyone is back, everyone is ready, and here will be the resume as ggLA are continuing to threaten this middle inhibitor.
A threat they shall. You mentioned that wave clear, but wave clear doesn't matter a whole lot when it's a naked inhibitor. There's actually one nude up top, one nude in the middle. Lots of nudity all around coming out from Cognitive side of the map, which just is not what they want right now. They want inhibitors to be protected by turrets as their article of clothing, but guess what? Now it's being poked down by Otter. They don't have a lot of ranged pokes for those inhibitors besides Otter, but Otter's enough to take it down quickly. And actually, Yuzuki just taking down the top inhibitor on his own.
Yeah, I think he's just going to try and take this one down. Gets a little bit of damage and won't be able to continue through there. The Nami ultimate did get spent trying to just force him back. So much of this team is just concerned with forcing people back away from objectives so that they can then get Caitlyn to step forward and just take him down. Captain Ziploc gets caught out by the cocoon, takes a lot of damage, including the ace in the hole. He's going to have to step back because he's at about 1/3 of his health. Zamfira trying to keep Yasuki from just taking down this inhibitor as best he can. But realistically, they need that Orianna. I mean, she's such a huge part of their team fight damage. I suppose at this point they're valuing iDream over that for the anti-carry status against Otter's Caitlyn. Otter trying to get this out. There's the counter strike, going to get locked up by the cocoon. Does get back in, gets the stun down on NACLS Remain. We see the locket coming out almost immediately. Captain Ziploc diving in on a Bishu, going to try to just disrupt him as much as he can. Cortez stepping forward there. The shockwave gets used. Bishu goes on to a killing spree as he picks that up. Yasuki will be able to pick up the kill on the Zamfira there. Max range cocoon lands on the Zane King. This is going to be the game. ggLA clean up a huge 2-0 fight, 3-0 fight if we count the Zyra, who is still hiding in her passive. That's going to be it. There's the surrender vote. ggLA take it down at the 38-minute mark.
A very solid final fight. Very oddly spread out, but guess what? That let Vladimir duel, that let Bishu duel, and it just let the backline get melted. And I think we can all agree, Malphus, that this is the one game that will always be remembered as the time iDream died to the turret for no reason whatsoever.
That will be a legend throughout the entirety of the NACL. At the end of the season, that will go into the highlight reel, along with our befuddled bemusings as we kind of giggled him a little bit.
Well, let's get him a medal. But overall,